Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Your Excellencies, it is an honor to participate in this interactive hearing, and we very much appreciate, as Amnesty International, the opportunity that you have afforded us to be part of the conversation and to offer some thoughts. The world is experiencing troubled times. Every day we see on the news stories of people in large numbers that are leaving their homes in search of better futures. They are seeking to escape poverty, natural disasters, man-made disasters, discrimination. They are seeking to escape from conflict. And we know of unsafe working conditions. We know of horrific stories of factories that are collapsing. We know of large-scale development projects and extractive industries that are siphoning off the wealth and resources of countries and communities without those communities benefiting. We know of land grabbing, forced evictions, and we also know that our climate is rapidly changing, putting large numbers of people, communities, and entire countries in peril. And we also know within this context that women in all parts of the world continue to struggle for full equality. And in every country, there are specific minorities that continue to be marginalized and that continue to bear the brunt of the human rights violations that are taking place. Ladies and gentlemen, all these issues are human rights issues. They are issues of human rights and dignity, and they deserve your attention as you finalize the post-2015 agenda and as you proceed to its implementation. Let us be clear. We are all in the same boat, and our futures are inextricably linked like never before. Actions or omissions in one part of the world generate positive and negative consequences on the lives and livelihoods of all and others in other parts of the world. Through the important discussions here in New York, you have an historic opportunity to rise above your national interests, to break free from silos, and to approach our common future for a universal and integrated approach that would be appropriate to solve these issues, calls and beckons, very much along the lines of what we say, that we all acknowledge and appreciate in Article 1.3 of the UN Charter, which is known to us as our common commitment to resolve the issues that face humanity collectively and collaboratively. As we steer the boat then that we find all of ourselves in towards this sustainable future that we envision, human rights must be our clarion call, and human rights must be the framing context that enables us to move forward. Within this context, Your Excellencies, I would like to leave you with 6 suggestions of issues that from the standpoint of Amnesty International and many others within the international human rights community, we see as priorities. Firstly, the question of participation. We believe, as we have just heard, that civil society organizations and social movements are key to the success of the post-2015 agenda. We call on states to respect the rights of freedom of expression, assembly, association, and to ensure an enabling environment, including for community representatives, human rights defenders, and journalists. Secondly, we suggest that addressing inequalities, including by collecting disaggregated data, is key to ensure that we can understand and measure the progress that we are making, and also with respect to all individuals and communities, especially for the most marginalized in our societies. Third, we also think that there is a call for urgency. We need to commit to make progress against agreed timeframes, while also recognizing that states have a number of immediate obligations under international law that must be complied with. Fourth, the question of accountability at the national level remains important. We need, Your Excellencies, to see you delivering on your promises to the people under your jurisdictions, taking their views into account and working with them to ensure that you deliver results to those who need them the most. and ensuring that institutions at the national level, such as ombudspersons, parliamentary bodies, national human rights bodies, quasi-judicial bodies, audit institutions, are involved in assessing strategies, policies, and programs as part of the national reporting cycle. Second last, it's important to review beyond borders, acknowledging the need to examine the transnational consequences of state policies and practices which directly or indirectly impact the delivery of the SDGs and the means of implementation. And this includes areas such as tax justice, development aid and assistance, trade and environment. And lastly, Your Excellencies, accountability and follow-up at the global level, certainly, but also including the regional level. It is not, in our view, a matter of finger-pointing, but it entails a discussion about areas that require further attention, where more assistance and cooperation are required, and where renewed efforts are needed to address challenges faced by states in collectively meeting our global aspirations. Your Excellencies, it is in your hands to connect the dots and to take effective action to make sure that we together can truly deliver on the promise of leaving no one individual and no country behind in the future that we seek as human beings to live in dignity and full respect of all our human rights and freedoms from fear and from want. As member states under the United Nations umbrella, you are accountable to your people, to each other, to the planet, and to future generations. And we look forward to working with you in making collectively our global aspirations a reality. I thank you for your attention.
I thank Mr. Mutasah